My name's Jack and I'm from Walch, and I collect trucks, tractors and old chainsaws and any sort of machinery, and this will be some of the stuff I'll be taking to the Walch Truck and Machinery show. This tractor here, this Fordson Major E27N, is probably the favourite machine I have in my collection at the moment. Come from just out of town here from Cam Seckolds. A lot of history in it, being a local tractor pretty well for the entirety of its life. It's a 1948. It was given to me by the person that purchased the property. Didn't need much work to get it going when we found it. It was pretty well out in the weather, half under a shed, rotted into the ground. All we did was pump the back tyres up, new front tyres on it, minor work to the starter motor and a service, and brakes and everything were all working. Belts and everything was still good, and got it going, and this is why I like old machinery, because you can't do that for new stuff. It's just 10 times more reliable. So this will be one of the machines that I'll be taking to the Walch Truck and Machinery show. This is my favourite machine, and living just up the road I'll be able to drive it straight down there and put it in, and job done. So this is the second Fordson that I own that I'll be taking down to the show. This is its younger brother. Despite it being a smaller looking tractor, it is actually bigger horsepower. So this is the Fordson Major Diesel. This machine here is also semi-local. It comes from Pinedale. This tractor, we've just put a new water pump in it. I've got a new alternator to go in it and a few other minor things, but quite a good little tractor, and a bit of a dodgy home paint job on it, but the rust is slowly coming through and making it look a bit better with time, so that's a bonus. It's currently registered but not on the road, as it needs a few other minor jobs to complete, but this is another one of my favourites. It drives well and starts well, and yeah, very good little tractors these. That's why I'm a big fan of the Fordsons. Just having a look at a couple of my chainsaws here. Some personal favourites of mine. These are 2-man chainsaws. They're pretty hard to find nowadays. This one here on the far left is actually my grandfather's first ever chainsaw. So this saw has been in the family for, well, 3 generations. I'm the third one to own it. But he pretty well went from a cross-cut saw to this machine, and he used it in the bush for a couple of days, and he didn't like using it by himself because of the obvious size of it, so he went back to a cross-cut saw and an axe, and he gave that to the men in the sawmill, and they thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. And this one here, I believe, is a 1949, and this one is a 1955, so they're still making them into the mid-50s. And what's interesting about the fact that they're a float carburetor, as you can see, the saw would be for cross-cutting like this. Now, if you wanted to fall a tree, you couldn't turn the saw on its side, so you'd have to pull this on the transmission, and the whole bar itself swivels over like that, so you could cut on an angle. Very big motors. That one there is 250cc, this one's 250, that one's 293cc. Compared to today's modern chainsaws, as big as they get is 120. These were a big tide changing in the timber industry. You imagine going from a crosscut saw to an axe to something that could fall a tree in a matter of minutes. So these were literally what shaped the way chainsaws are today compared to the lightweight machines we have now. All 3 of these chainsaws will be at the Truck and Machinery show. These 2 here are both running, and they both run very well. So if you come down to the show, you'll be able to see these machines. I will have a timber demonstration going there with logs, so they will be cutting and running, and yeah, you'll be able to see how they worked back in the day and how they still work very well today.